Hello, lovely ladies, and the Goddess Creations for Women group, and of course, the lovely viewers who are watching live. And you can do a hashtag live, and the people watching later on, you can do a hashtag replay. I am Shamna Lee Gray from Goddess Creations, and I am the midwife of empowerment. And I would love to invite you on to our 12th interview in the Goddess Creations Empowerment Marathon, where I am interviewing the lovely Lavinia Sanders. And Lavinia Sanders is the founder and CEO of Balance with Lavinia. She is an award-winning international motivational speaker, energy balancing trainer, Reiki master, and clarity creator. And I have to tell you that from experience, Lavinia is so much more. Lavinia is passionate about helping people connect with themselves, transform their lives, and create more balance, confidence, abundance, and freedom. Now, Lavinia will be sharing with us, among other stuff, Lavinia will be sharing with us on how to balance your energy, manifest your best life. So I am very pleased and excited to invite Lavinia into this conversation. So here she is. Hello, Lavinia.
Hello, hello. Thank you
Hello.
so much for inviting me on here today. I'm so honored to be talking to you and to be among all the other amazing guest speakers and experts that you've had on. But firstly as well, Shamna, I would just like to say a big thank you to you and to honor you for creating what you have created, because it is truly inspirational. And it's really, really helpful. But it's going to, I know we're doing it for 90 days, but the impact that it's going to have is going to go on and on and on and on. So thank you for doing this and showing up and shining your light.
Thank you. Thank you, Lavinia. Wow, these words are really coming to the heart. I thank you so much for this. So, Lavinia, our subject, your subject is that we are going to be speaking on is universal fears. Now, that is such a large subject, and that is something that we all do struggle with. I mean, of course, me, myself included. So, what would you love to, just off the top of your hat, just to start, share concerning what are universal fears? Let's start with that.
So first of all, the thing with universal fears is everybody has them. From the most, yesterday you had the lovely Kim on talking about confidence. So from the most confident person that you know, they also will have fear. So that's why, I mean, the title of our chat is Universal Fear. So everybody has them. You might know some people who might be more anxious than others, but everybody has fears. And there are ways that, and there are tools that you can use to overcome them. And I always say to people, if you kind of just think of fear as information, it's mind-body feedback. So fear is mind-body feedback that something is not quite right, something could possibly be holding you back. But a lot of the time as well, it's instinctual. So fear is a good thing. It's not always a bad thing, because fear will keep you safe. You know, I always say to people, if you're, you know, people use the analogy of you're going to be chased by a lion. Fear will get you running and get your heart rate up and get your adrenaline going. And that is good. But if you're living in a state of fear constantly, then the likelihood is that that will be holding you back from achieving and living the life that you want.
Wow.
Yeah.
So to be able to cope with these fears, how do we know what fears are, which fears there are?
So, I mean, there's a lot of fears that are kind of common to most. So one of the fears that comes up all the time for people, male and female, is the fear of not being good enough. So people have this fear that they're not going to be good enough. So, and that can show itself. I think with men, it shows itself sometimes as arrogance, because they become quite arrogant because they have this fear that they're not going to be good enough. So the way of showing that would be to be a little bit arrogant. The fear of not being loved is a very common fear. The fear of loneliness And this is quite a common one, because before I came on to speak with you, so I've obviously known since before Christmas that we were going to be having this lovely chat, and so I've been around all my family, and they range, from 8 upwards, and I've been asking all of them, even the 8-year-old, the 11-year-old, the 16, 17-year-old, what are their fears, as well as the adults, and it was quite interesting that the fear of loneliness or being on your own is prevalent with young people as well as with older people. I think there is a fear of old age with people, a fear of failure, a fear of rejection. A lot of people fear the unknown. They find that very hard. They find fear of disappointment, the fear of loss of freedom. That's a big one as well. If people feel that they're losing their freedom, the fear of being judged or criticized or ridiculed. But I always say to people, what we're going to try to do today, Shamna, is we're going to try to get people, anybody who's listening, we're going to try people to fear less and trust more.
Wow, that is absolutely necessary.
And trust that the universe and that collectively together that we are here supporting each other.
Wow. So when we how do we know that we are? How did you know when you wanted to talk about this type of thing? I mean, what is this? Have you overcome fear, Lavinia? Let's. I'm just curious.
So I mean, for me, it's been very interesting actually this year. I don't know, like I've been very blessed to be last year to be part of the Pay It Forward series. So I had to, I got to write a chapter in a book about paying it forward, and that was quite interesting for me. I'm going off piste here a little bit because I'm going to talk about 4 years ago I got diagnosed with breast cancer and how fear presented itself to me then. But it was interesting doing that book because I had to look back over my life. So when I talk about, what I do now and gaining balance, I do talk about the cancer episode. But actually, if I look back in my life when I wrote the book, there was an episode that happened in my childhood when I was 6 that actually, I think, created a pattern of behavior where fear would have presented itself, but I would not have dealt with it the way that I deal with it now. And I can honestly say with my hand on my heart that I know a lot of people looking in on my life would not really think that much has changed from 5 years ago to now, because I pretty much do the same thing. My family is here. I'm lucky to get to travel a bit, and, I'm very, very blessed. I am very blessed. But a lot has changed. And what has changed, the biggest thing that has changed is that I find joy now. I find joy now where I didn't before, and it's not in eating in 5-star restaurants. It's not in my designer handbags. It's not. It's in the bird that comes to talk to me every morning by my doorstep. It's in the appreciation that I have a table where I sit around with my family and we laugh. I find joy in the mess in my house, which before used to drive me nuts, because that means I've got a family and I'm blessed with possessions. Anyway, I'm completely sidetracking off, and
but actually no, that's not true, because because you really touched me in sharing about how you went from the breast cancer to and also looking back, let's say I just wrote a word wrong, how you went from the breast cancer to valuing life more, and how I don't know if that is what cured your breast cancer.
Okay. What happened with the breast cancer, Shamna, was obviously I got diagnosed with the breast cancer. It was totally out of the blue. I was not expecting it. I didn't have any symptoms. I didn't present with any lumps, but there was a history in my family. So I was in a preventative program where I'd go every year and have a mammogram. And then they called me back and I was like, you must have the wrong person. I first went straight into denial. Absolutely could not be me. And it was me. And I was very lucky because if I wasn't in that program, the preventative program, my husband's medical, and he said there was a big chance I would not be here today, because by the time it would have presented itself, it was very aggressive. But the biggest thing that I learned was that at the time when something like that happens, and that could be a loss of a loved one, it could be a loss of any loss in your life,
you go into fear. You go into fear mode immediately. So
completely,
how
and
do you deal with that?
and what happens, what I realize now looking back on that time, is I was trying to present to the world that I was absolutely not fearful, that gosh, she even got breast cancer and she dealt with it, and with these, but I was terrorizing myself. And what I was terrorizing myself with, and these words are very important, and when you hear yourself using these words, I can give you other words to counteract them, but the words are what if. So a lot of people that suffer from anxiety and fear, they would say to themselves a lot, what if? So if you're thinking about doing something, oh gosh, I may not do, what if I do that and, the technology doesn't work? What if I, go and join a club for salsa dancing because I love dancing and people laugh at me? What if? And for myself, I was terrorizing myself as, what if I have breast cancer, and I die? What if I don't get to see my children growing up? What if I don't get to, hug my mom again? What if I don't get to tell all the people who are important to me that I love them? And,
even hearing all of this is making me cry, really. And I mean, really, all of this is making me feel very emotional, because I can feel the anxiety, I can feel the fear, I can feel the pain of being in that mindset.
And when I was in that mindset, I realized that it was my mind that was terrorizing me. And I realized that if I was to get through this, despite being like a Reiki master, despite being a holistic, having a holistic business, that I needed something different. And that was when I discovered an energy technique called the balance procedure, that uses these little cards that have lots and lots of different elements to them. They're multi-dimensional. There is a book as well, as you say. But basically the principle of the balance procedure is that we all create our own reality through our thoughts and our imagination. So whatever reality you're experiencing right now, you have created that. Now, at the beginning, I found that very hard
Exactly.
to swallow, because I kept saying to myself, well, I did not create this reality. This is ridiculous. Why would I create a reality where I was going to have cancer?
Exactly.
But when I calmed my energy, because basically you connect with your heart energy, and it's all about moving forward. And when you connect with your heart energy and you get out of your head and connect with your heart, then you become aware of the infinite possibilities that are available to you. And for me, it made me realize that the cancer provided me with an opportunity to do all these things that I was worried and anxious about. It gave me an opportunity to change my life, change my reality, and change how I view things. And I know that, when we met first, that I said to you one thing, and you always say to me that it reminds you, but I say that to people, if it doesn't light you up, don't do it.
Exactly.
Because we sometimes busy ourselves in life with all these things that we think we should do.
Exactly.
But we've created that. We think we should. I'll give you a slight example. I've been away for a couple of days and I've come back. I mean, my family probably would hate me saying this, but I've come back And my daughter, who has had lots of people around, now I was just really worried about, like, oh, they wouldn't have the house tidy enough, they wouldn't do this, everything wouldn't be perfect. I had to let it go. I had to balance my energy and let it go. And I've come back, and there's a couple of things, like the Christmas tree is still up. And my initial reaction when I walked in was to get all angry and all annoyed and everything. But then again, I balanced that energy, and I just thought, everybody has been busy. My husband's been working all the time. The girls have been working. Everybody has been busy, and it's fine. We will get time this week to do it. So it's a different way of looking at things.
Absolutely.
You know, and because if I had got into that mindset of getting angry, anger is a big thing. Anger is a big thing. And, you know, I looked back at before I got diagnosed with the cancer, and I realized now, I didn't at the time, that I was holding on to a lot of anger, suppressed anger from things that had happened, that I had to let go. And I think if you do hold on to anger in your body, it does manifest itself in some way. And so that is usually in disease, chronic illness, unhappiness. So if you're feeling angry, you've got to realize that that's not important. Yesterday, Kim touched on something else that was very important.
Let me just say to the viewers that Lavinia, if you're watching this at a later time, because if you're watching it now, you can do a hashtag live. If you're watching it later, you can do a hashtag replay. And Kim, who Lavinia is now referring to, is Kim O'Neill, who was speaking about how to wear your confidence. So just making that visible for the other women.
People. And one of the things that she mentioned that, you know, I was that really aligned with me was that in life, so if it comes to something that you're fearful about, or that you feel that you have to ask yourself a very simple question. How do I want to feel? Not how do I want to make other people feel, not how do I. So a lot of the time your fear might hold you back from doing something. And, you know, and you know, when we had a discussion about doing this 90-day goddess thing, and, you know, before you did it, and you were so passionate, and you were so passionate about serving people, and that is shining through, and you can see that. But I kept saying to you, but forget about everybody else. You have decided to do this 90 days, which is amazing. What do you want from it? Because that is important. What do you want? How do you want to feel? And once you get that right, because otherwise you might be worrying, are people getting what you want them to get from it? It's not, everybody will get what they're supposed to get. Some people will listen to one person speak, and that will be enough for them to change their life.
Absolutely.
And others will listen. And all it is about as well is supporting each other, because there's so much out there today where we're against each other. People are putting, you know, we're putting up against each other. We're actually all here together. We're all here together. We're all unique. We all have amazing qualities to offer. And you just got to get out there and shine and let the universe see the wonder and the beauty that is inside of you. And if you are faced with something that is stressful or gives you fear, know that it will change. Everything changes. It's energy that flows. It's flowing through your body. We will go through tips. I mean, in the exercise, there's some tips to deal with that. But also know that you are handling it. You are doing your best at that particular time, but you are handling it. Yeah. And then there are a few things that we can talk about, you know, about how to get yourself out of that, get yourself out of the negative thinking.
Well, I would like to go back just for a moment. Thank you, Lavinia.
Because, you know, I can talk and talk.
I love it. No, but I love it. But what I would like to ask you, because that is something that you said you were going to come back to, that's why I'm referring to it, is that when we enter the energy of how you terrorize yourself with all of these what ifs, you said you were going to give us a sentence to counter that energy. Can you just share that now, just so that we can, just touch on that, so that we can clear that, and then we can move on to whatever it is. Lovely stuff
So
you would share.
the sentence is like, so if you play the what if game all the time with yourself, what if, you
Yeah,
know,
because that's it. For me, for myself,
yeah,
when I am in a bad mind state, or I feel that life is against me and or whatever, I'm like,
yeah,
I don't want to have breast cancer. I don't want to have breast cancer. I'm not going to have cancer. And of course, I
mm-hmm.
very well do know that that mindset actually, for me, then let's say, attracts cancer, because that is the negative energy
That's
that
the
you're
energy
putting
you're putting
on
out,
yourselves.
energy you will attract back in. So when
Exactly.
you find yourself in a state of fear of what if, I'd say the first thing to do is to form a circuit around your heart. So one hand and two hands on top of that, okay? And I would just take some deep breaths in and out and just connect with that heart energy and just say to yourself, this is going to be so simple, it's like so easy, that you just say to yourself, I am handling my fears.
I am
I'm
handling my
handling my
fears.
fears. I am handling my fears.
I am handling my fears.
I am powerful
I am powerful,
and I am handling my fears.
and I am handling my fears.
Now that will just get you relaxed. The other thing to do when you are feeling fearful, and this really helped me. So I now, practice this balance procedure. I run retreats and workshops on how to live a balanced life. So, I eat, breathe, sleep. So I kind of do it without even thinking about it. But there are times when I can feel the fear rising. And when I do feel it, it's quite shocking because I'm normally not in that state. And it happened in May of last year. And what happened was I got a rash on the side of the breast that where the cancer was. And I just got a big shock. It was really itchy. It was really red. And I was in quite a bit of pain. So again, I started getting into that mindset. Oh my gosh, it's come back. It's come back. What am I going to do? And what I've learned is now previously I would have just terrorized myself again. So what I've learned is I balanced my energy. I got myself in flow. I was on holiday at the time with my mom, my daughter, and my husband. And I said to myself, okay, what evidence have you got right now, right this very minute, that this cancer has come back? So I said, okay, right this minute, you've got a rash. It could be anything. You've no other symptoms. You've nothing else. What action, this is important, what action are you going to take right now? So I emailed my consultant and I said to her, this is what I've got. She emailed me straight back. She set up an appointment for me for when I got back. And then I parked it, Shamna. I parked it. I said, right now, today, what evidence do I have? I have no evidence. I'm happy. I'm healthy. I feel the same way I did yesterday. I've got a rash, so I've got a sign, but I've taken some action. I've done something about it. And I had the best holiday. Whereas previously, what I would have done is I wouldn't have said anything to anybody. I would have tried to pretend that I was okay, but I let it go. Let it go. That's it. Let it go. But I would have just been terrorizing myself. Oh my gosh, if it's come back, why is it coming back? What am I doing? What am I supposed to be knowing? What am I supposed to be doing? Am I doing too much? And do you know what it made me realize? It made me realize that I was doing too much a little bit. And that I wasn't always, because I'm always talking about being present in the moment, and that I wasn't fully present because sometimes I'm working. So I closed my laptop, I closed my phone, and for that week there, I had the most wonderful week with my mom, with my daughter, and with my husband. And we had a wonderful week. I came back, had an examination, had some tests done, and praise the Lord, everything is fine.
Yes.
But I was very happy that I had that tool to help me deal with that. And it really did help me.
And even if it is just dealing with the toxic fear part of things, I mean, that doesn't guarantee the cancer, yay or nay, whether it's there or not. But it does help you with your mindset, which will really affect all of your cells. I mean, I went through this last year, where last year I had, or maybe 1.5 years ago, I had a bump in my breast, and that was like, and I felt it, and I was, and it was irritating me, and then I went to the doctor, and I thought, you know what, let me just go through the whole thing where you have the mammogram and you have a bit taken,
Biopsy thing,
a
yeah.
biopsy to, and it was a tumor, but it was a goodwill. I don't know how you say it
Yeah,
in English.
malignant. Oh, no,
Malignant.
benign. No,
No,
benign.
benign,
Benign.
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 It
Benign.
was a benign tumor. And they said, let it be. And so after I'd done that, it went away because I was at peace. Now, less than a year later, on the other breast, I got another bump. And I said, but I had already promised my first breast after the scar tissue, and it really didn't like having that test done. So I said to my breast, you know what? I'm sorry. Next time I will do my best not to have you treated this way. And I decided that if it happens again, I will approach it differently. So the next breast had a bump, and it was like, okay, mindset. And I couldn't bring myself down into the peaceful energy to energize it away. So what I said is to the breast, the other breast, I said, you know what? Let's make a deal. I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to have the doctor look at it so that I can put my mind at rest. I'm going to ask for a receipt to go to the hospital, but I'm going to say I'm not going to go to the hospital. Now, this is not me telling everyone else to do this, but what I did was I went to the doctor and I said, I want a receipt. I want you to have a look. I want you to give me a receipt so I can go to the hospital. Yeah, but you really have to go to the hospital because blah, blah, blah. Thank you. But all I needed was that receipt, and I could bring my body into a peace, and the bump went away. I am not guaranteeing it for
Sure.
anyone who has it, but for
Yeah.
me, that worked because I believe that mindset and what I believe, law of attraction, let's say, is what, it's the toxicity of my mind that influences my body. And I'm
And
not saying it's everyone.
when you were saying that story, you reminded me of one thing. And at the time, like when I was having all my treatment, it's very rigorous and it's very tough on your body. And I thought to myself, I did the balancing every day, and I thought, how am I going to get through this? And what I did was, like what you're saying, is I made the treatment my friend. I
Yeah.
said, okay, we are not going to be enemies here. We are friends. This medication that's making me so sick, that's making me tired, there's everything. But I'm friends with you because you are in my body now and you are taking away this toxicity that is having. But I made friends with it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't my enemy. And it became,
Exactly.
and I'm not joking you. I got through every day on a day-to-day basis because I always say to people, if you make today the best that it can be for you, based on all the things that you have to do. Now, you might have a lot going on, but if you can make it the best that you can do and ask yourself, how do I want to feel today? How do I want to feel? And if you can do that, what happens is every day becomes a good day and it builds up and you will be starting to live this life that you want. It is good to have big dreams and big goals and aspirations, and that's great. But actually, it's your day-to-day living. How do I want to feel today? And the other thing as well is that, when we all leave this earth and go wherever we go or whatever we do, people won't remember like what you gave them or people will remember how you made them feel. And
Mm.
that's what people will remember about you. So it's all about connections, and it's all about, take the time to have a chat with somebody. Take the time. Don't always be rushing. Just enjoy. We're here together. We're here to kind of co-create, to work together, to work in harmony with each other. And a lot of your guests who are amazing. I mean, the people that you've had in here, Shamna, have been like, they are world-class experts. They really are. And that is like a kind of a reflection of you, that people are coming into this group. But a lot of them have been talking about how important it is to getting in connect with nature.
Yeah.
And people have forgotten that, and it's so important. And if anybody is watching this that has young children, please try and instill in them time in nature, because it's something that you know, as an old person here now, we grew up with. We were out all the time. We were playing, we were using our imagination, we were building dens, we were doing things, and it's harder now, but it doesn't have to be. So take that time to connect for yourself and your family.
Wow. So is there anything, because I heard a beautiful sound, and I know what that
And it's
sound
time
is.
up.
It's
Yeah.
enough, yeah, but don't worry about that. That's for me to do, but don't worry about that. So I would like to know, what were you shuffling right there? Because I know you were shuffling. I could hear it.
I have got a little thing here that I
Mm.
am going to do a little blessing for everybody that watches this now. And everybody that watches this, may your heart be filled with joy and love and peace. And may you move forward with ease and grace in life. And may you do things every minute of every day that fill your heart with joy. And if you're not feeling great, that's okay too. Know that you're doing your best. Life is about cycles, up and down. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Just go with the flow. Connect with your heart energy. And I just wish everybody everything that you would desire in 2020. And know that it's out there for the taking, and it's there for you. Anything your heart desires, there's infinite possibilities out there, and you have a choice, and today is the day. Please choose happiness today over fear. Love and fear cannot live in the same place. So please choose love and live your life from a place of love. There we go.
Wow. Thank you, Lavinia, for this lovely blessing. And actually, you actually snuck it in, because I was going to ask, how did you become this beautiful angel that you are? And but I must say, darling, you just are. You just are.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, if anybody is struggling, I mean, they can, you know, please reach out. I'll be very happy to. I've got some free tools that people can use to help. But you know, if there's anybody really struggling, do reach out.
And that is what I want to ask you, is that where can we find you, Lavinia?
So you can find me on balancewithlavinia.com. Facebook is Balance with Lavinia. Instagram is Balance with Lavinia. LinkedIn, which I have had a fear of, but I'm gonna embrace that fear this year and give it a little bit of time. So LinkedIn, I'm also Balance with Lavinia. So Balance with Lavinia, that people can find me. If they look that up, they'll be able to get in touch with me some way.
Well,
And then the other thing that, you know, in this week in the activity, there is an activity where people can, if they feel the fear coming up, if they feel themselves in a situation that they're, you know, at a crossroads about making a decision, you know, there are the 3 steps to take a breath in, ask yourself, what evidence do you have right now, right this minute, to be fearful of whatever you're thinking, and actually take some sort of a positive step to move yourself forward. But the winner of the activity this week will get this book and this cards. I keep moving the wrong way. There we go. And they will also get an online or in person, depending on who it is, balance procedure level 1 workshop. Now, for anybody who's a holistic therapist, they are accredited. So you get, in the UK, we have to do continual professional development. So you get those points as well. And the other thing that I just want to say is, Shamna, because you have been giving so much of yourself, I would like to offer you the book and the cards, and also the level 1. So it can either be done with whoever the winner is, or on your own, or whenever. But so one of those has been gifted to you today as well.
Thank you very much. And I would
And
like
thank
to add,
you. Thank you
Yes,
for everything.
thank you very much. I'm very pleased to receive this. And I would like to say for those who are viewing is that these prizes that Lavinia has mentioned are available until Sunday, the 12th of January 2020, because that is in the Goddess Creations for Women group. But don't worry, if you are still interested in accessing these lovely products, just reach out to Lavinia in the places that she mentioned, which is balancewithlavinia.com, etc. and etc. So you can also access this for yourself. So
And if
thank you.
anybody is watching, Shamna, because I I really feel the energy in what you're doing. I really
Mm.
feel it. And you know, I really feel it's important for us as women to support each other and empower each other and just inspire each other. So if there is anybody that wants to, going forward in 2020, do the balance procedure in your group, you can put it in another time, but I'll give them a 20% discount on the price
Wow.
to all of your members, and so at any time they can, any of the products that are in my website, they can have it, because I can really feel what you're doing.
Thank you. That is a huge gift. And I want to say thank you for the viewers as well. So, viewers, you know what to do. Join the group and access the products, because then, well, you can have it in a lovely discounted rate. And I know that
Yeah.
some people are watching as well. So, I would like to thank you for watching. I'm going to see if I can find out who is saying thank you, Lavinia and Shamna, if I can find that. And if not, it doesn't matter, because
Yeah.
yeah, we'll get back to that. That's totally okay. That's totally okay. So thank you very much,
So
Lavinia.
thank you very much for having me, Shamna. It's been
Yes,
absolutely lovely. I've had fun, I've enjoyed myself, and it's been wonderful.
yes. Well, thank you very much. And I can see it was Joanne who was watching. So thank you, Joanne, for commenting and staying tuned. And lovely ladies, thank you for watching live as well, or hashtag replay for watching. Thank you very much for watching. And also outside of the group, because that can be man and woman alike, can it not? Because we are going to be sharing this everywhere we can, because the message is larger than a little group. But you are
Yeah,
very welcome. And thank you very much, Lavinia, for joining us. I really enjoyed myself.
my pleasure.
And I want to say thank you for the blessing as well and the lovely gifts. So, lovely ladies, I will be seeing you next time for the next interview, which will be interview number 13. Looking
Wow.
forward to, yes, looking forward to all of this, and I will see you next time. So, thank you very much, and goodbye, Lavinia. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.